If this is one of those days, I'm really glad you're here. This is Kallaborate, where joy becomes your foundation. Not the loud kind of joy, but the kind you build piece by piece after life changes everything. I'm Francene, and I'm walking this with you. Today, we're slowing down again. This is Say Their Name, a space we return to remember the people we carry with us. Not because we have to tell their whole story, not because we need to explain what happened, not because grief needs an answer. We come here because they were here. They mattered. And their names still matter. Something happened as the names for this episode were shared with me. Every person cried. Not because I asked them to tell me the story. They didn't. They gave me a name, a relationship, maybe a few words about who that person had been to them. And then the tears came. I've been thinking about that ever since. Because sometimes a name is not just a name. A name can carry years. A voice you still remember. A laugh. A kitchen table. A hug. Something they always said. The way they made you feel when you walked into a room. A name can carry an entire relationship without us saying another word. I don't think those tears were only about missing someone. I think some of them were about love. The kind of love that shaped a person. The kind that leaves something behind. Something you carry in the way you care for people. The way you laugh. The way you show patience. The way you make a home feel warm. Or the way you show up when someone needs you. Sometimes we don't realize how much of someone we carry until their name is spoken. And suddenly, there it is. All that love. There is something powerful about saying a name out loud. It does not make the missing smaller. It does not change what happened. It does not make grief disappear. But it does something else. It gives love somewhere to go. It says, you are still a part of my story. It says, something you gave me is still here. It says, the world may have moved forward, but I have not forgotten that you existed in mine. There are two names that will always be part of the foundation of this space. My dad, Frank, and my daughter, Kat. Their lives shaped mine in completely different ways. Their loss shaped me too. And so did their love. They are part of why Kallaborate exists. Part of why I believe names matter. Part of why I believe remembrance deserves a place in our everyday lives. I do not only want to remember that they died. I want to remember that they lived, that they loved, that they laughed, that they had personalities, opinions, stories, and ways of being in the world that still influence mine. Frank, Kat, you are loved, you are remembered, you are part of the foundation I stand on. And now, I want to gently open this space to the names that were trusted to me for today. I only know a small piece of each story, and that is okay. I don't need the whole story to know there was love there. You can hear it in the words people choose. And sometimes you can hear it in the tears that come after the name. Dana shared two very special women. Her grandma, Sylvia, and her great-great-aunt, Karen. Dana said they put heart and love into all they did. Sylvia, Karen, there's something beautiful about being remembered that way. Not by a little, not by an accomplishment, but because someone remembers the heart you put into living, the love you put into what you did. That kind of love doesn't always announce itself while it's happening. Sometimes we recognize its size only after we've spent years carrying it. Sylvia, Karen, you are remembered. Roxanne shared two names with me. Her loving father, Clifford, and her kind and patient grandmother, Jenny. Loving, kind, patient. 3 simple words. But think about how much life can exist inside them. How many moments teach you that someone is loving? How many times does someone have to meet you with kindness before that becomes part of how you remember them? How many ordinary moments of patience become extraordinary once you realize how much they shaped you? Clifford, Jenny, the love you gave is still being carried. Shelley shared 2 people who became family through love. Bill, the father figure who became the dad she had always needed. And Bonnie, who was like a second mom. Sometimes family is the relationship we were born into. And sometimes someone enters our life and loves us in a way that fills a place we had been carrying empty. Bill did not need a biological title to become a dad in Shelley's heart. Bonnie did not need to be her mother to give her something that felt like a mother's love. Bill, Bonnie, what you gave mattered. The way you loved mattered. And it is still here. Sylvia, Karen, Clifford, Jenny, Bill, Bonnie. 6 names, 6 lives, 6 relationships that mattered enough that saying their names brought tears. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Roxanne. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you for trusting me with the people you love. Something else stayed with me after these conversations. The people who shared these names with me clearly carry enormous love, but they do not necessarily talk about these people every day. They do not always tell the stories. They do not always tell other people about the love they received from them. And I started wondering, why don't we? Not as criticism. I understand why. Sometimes saying the name makes your throat tighten. Sometimes the story that begins with laughter ends with tears. Sometimes we worry that other people will feel uncomfortable, or that we will make the moment sad, or that we will have to explain more than we want to explain. So the stories stay inside us, safe, private, loved. But maybe they don't always have to stay there. Maybe remembrance does not always have to happen in a special place, or on an anniversary, or during a podcast called Say Their Name. Maybe sometimes their names belong at the dinner table, in the car, over coffee, while cooking a recipe they taught you. When you catch yourself saying something exactly the way they used to say it. Maybe there is room to say, my Grandma Jenny was the most patient person. Or, Bill taught me what having a dad could feel like. Or, Sylvia and Karen put so much love into everything they did. Not because every mention needs to become a grief conversation, but because they were part of your life, and they still belong in your story. The love we receive becomes part of us. Sometimes we recognize exactly where it came from. Sometimes we don't. You may have learned patience because someone was patient with you. You may know how to make someone feel welcome because someone once made you feel that way. You may hug people the way they hugged you. Cook something the way they cooked it. Celebrate birthdays the way they did. Use a phrase they always used. Show up for people because they showed up for you. Those things may look like little pieces of your personality, but sometimes they are love that was handed down. A little bit of somebody else, still making its way through the world, through you. Around here, we talk about carrying forward, not moving on, not leaving someone behind, carrying forward. I think love can be carried forward in the stories we tell, in the things we repeat, in the kindness we offer, in the traditions we keep, in the moments when we say, you know who taught me that? And then we say their name. And yes, sometimes tears will come. That happens with every person who shared names for this episode. Maybe you'll be telling a funny story and suddenly your eyes fill. Maybe someone will ask one innocent question and their name catches in your throat. Maybe you will surprise yourself because you thought you were perfectly fine a moment earlier. The tears do not ruin the story. They are part of it. Love can make us laugh and ache inside the same sentence. There's room for both. Maybe someone has already come to mind while you've been listening. Someone whose name changes something inside you when you hear it. Maybe you've not said their name in a while. Maybe people around you do not know much about them. Maybe there is an entire part of who you are that makes more sense when their story is included. You do not have to tell everything. You do not have to explain the loss. You do not have to turn the moment into something heavy. Maybe, when it feels right, you simply let them into the conversation. One story, one memory, one thing they taught you, one sentence about the way they loved, or simply their name. If it feels okay, let someone come to mind. You do not have to search. Maybe they are already there. Think about the love they gave you. Not the day you lost them. Not what happened at the end. The love. What did it feel like? What did they give you that you may still carry today? A sense of humor? Patience? Safety? Curiosity? A love of music? A recipe? A phrase? A way of caring for people? Maybe you can see a little of them inside who you have become. Sometimes, after someone dies, their death slowly becomes the story people know about them. How long ago it happened. How they died. How much we miss them. But there was a whole person before there was a loss. There was love. There were ordinary Tuesdays, annoying habits, inside jokes, favorite foods, stories people have probably heard 100 times. That life deserves to stay part of the conversation too, not only the ending. This season, we've been talking about coming home to ourselves, about recognizing the parts of us that were there all along. Our dreams, our voice, our ability to trust ourselves. And I think the people who loved us are woven into that too. Because none of us became who we are alone. There are people who encouraged us, protected us, made us laugh, believed in us, taught us, made mistakes beside us, loved us imperfectly and sometimes extraordinarily. Some of them are still here. Some are not. but the love they gave us became part of who we are. There can be joy in remembering that. Not joy because they are gone, joy because they were here, because you got to know them, because something they gave you still makes its way into the world, maybe through you. Joy is not something I lost. It's something I rebuilt. And some of the pieces I rebuilt with came from the people who loved me. Frank and Kat. And I imagine there are many more names woven through all of us. Next time, we begin the final part of our Season 2 journey. We're going to talk about something that can become surprisingly complicated after life has hurt us. Happiness. What happens when happiness begins showing up again? And part of us wonders whether we are allowed to have it. Whether enjoying this life somehow means we're leaving someone behind. The people we love do not disappear from our story when we laugh. Their love can come with us, and that is where we will walk together next. If there's someone you would like remembered in a future Say Their Name episode, visit Kallaborate.com and choose Say Their Name. Share their name, and if you'd like, one sentence about who they are to you. You do not have to tell me the whole story. Their name is enough, because they were here. They mattered, and they are not forgotten. Today, we said 8 names. Frank, Kat, Sylvia, Karen, Clifford, Jenny, Bill, Bonnie. But I know there were more. Names you said quietly. Names you thought about. Names that may have brought a smile. Names that may have brought tears. Maybe this week, one of those names finds its way into an ordinary conversation. Not because you have to, simply because they are still part of you. Tell the funny story. Share what they taught you. Say what you loved about them. Let someone else know that this person once walked through your life and left something beautiful behind. The love they gave you did not disappear. Some of it became you. We'll keep walking together, one conversation at a time. I see you. If you're rebuilding one piece at a time, follow Kallaborate wherever you listen to podcasts and be part of the conversations ahead.